Here's something I've really been itching to tackle, some good old-fashioned Canadian cinema, Quebecois style. Allons-y! Mon Oncle Antoine from 1971, directed by legendary Canadian author Claude Jutre, is widely thought of and even voted multiple times as the greatest Canadian film ever. I don't know if that's true or if I agree with it, as I kind of need to see more Canadian films, but Mon Oncle Antoine is a damn fine work, and I can see why it gets the praise it does. It takes place in a rural Quebec mining town, an unspecified time prior to the 1949 asbestos strike. Its story revolves around the character of Benoit, a 15-year-old orphan taken in by his Aunt Cecile and Uncle Antoine of the title. During the course of the film, Benoit, as well as the audience, are taken through a waking tour of 1940s rural Quebec, its Catholicism, the mining, the town, and a meticulously recreated general store run by Antoine that serves as the film's primary staging point. Benoit, along with his family, Fernand the store clerk, and another adoption of his aunt and uncle, Carmen, go through the motions of preparing the store for festivities in the 24-hour period prior to Christmas Eve. During this, Benoit comes into connection with the many changing dynamics of Quebec during these times, the newly expanding sexuality, abandonment of the church, and the creation of adolescence before coming face to face with the prospect of his own mortality and lack of importance, leading to the realization that the Quebec of the time is horribly broken and in some ways beyond repair. We also get a few side stories mixing into the proceedings, a disgruntled asbestos miner and his sick son, Cecile's affair with the store clerk Fernand, and Carmen and Benoit's mutual attraction towards each other. But what ends up feeling like the biggest attraction of the film is Quebec itself. The effort and care made into recreating and shooting this type of location is very well done. Drowning views of the asbestos slag hang around in seemingly every direction. The use of almost all natural lighting creates a grim, dark view of the town as winter rages on, and overall the entire film is a general metaphor for the state of Quebec prior to the 1960s and 70s Quiet Revolution. Its depiction is to allegorize the state as Benoit, just coming into adolescence and finally discovering the world around it. And then, anger. Anger at the realization of modernity and how it has eluded them for so long. Anger at how little of Quebec the Québécois actually have control of, as Americans own their industry and Anglophones dominate their involvement. Anger at the forcing of the rural life upon them by Maurice Duplessis, and the enabling of corruption within the Quebec government. The asbestos strike of 1949 was one of the seminal periods of not just Quebec, but of Canada as a whole. Not only was it one of the factors leading into the Quiet Revolution that finally realized the modernization of Quebec, it also launched the careers of several well-known Canadian figures, such as Jean Marchand, Gérard Pétellier, and even Pierre Trudeau himself, all of whom ran successfully for the House of Commons in '65 and Trudeau himself for Prime Minister in '68. Here, then, is a film that gives a frank retrospective view of Quebec just prior, delivering an intriguing history lesson in addition to just being a compellibly watchable film. But hey, you can enjoy two things at once. The execution of all these stories and themes is done wonderfully. Jacques Gagnon, Jean Duceppe, and Lynn Champagne acquit themselves well and believable in their lead roles, alongside smaller turns like Lionel Villeneuve and even Claude Jutre himself. He also directs the film fantastically, giving the whole picture a flowing sequential vibe, despite mostly just being a collection of small moments across one day before a huge climactic event and reveal sets the whole enterprise into its frame. If I have one complaint, it's the camera work. Too often you get painfully noticeable tinkering with the zoom lens, which did distract me quite a lot, but not enough to lessen the film's overall effect. Claude Jutre made many other films, shorts, documentaries, and even a couple of TV episodes in his tragically too short career, but Mon Oncle Antoine is the crown jewel. A proud achievement of Canadian artistry, and all things considered, one of the greatest movies ever made. If you have a Canadian IP, you can watch it for free on the National Film Board of Canada's website by registering there, or for a small price, you may buy the film directly from the Film Board's website. I highly recommend watching it. I mean, it's not like there's really anything else going on in theaters right now. Anyway, je vous verrai la prochaine fois!